Okay, so I found an easier way to fill my schedule. So if you see in this view, you can see all the schedules for all the flights which are currently running. And as you can see, I have already filled out most of them. For example, let's take any of the flights. For example, this one, AC011, which it was primarily scheduled to run between Frankfurt and Bombay, but then it had few hours left for on a particular day, so I scheduled it for RIX. Right now I'm not sure what RIX is, but I think it is one of the new routes that but I think it is Riga, Latvia. So I added these smaller chunks at the end of the primary flight which was scheduled initially. And I've done this for most of them till I think 39th flight. There are still some gaps, like for 30 I still have 3 hours and 15 minutes of time remaining. For 33 I have 4 hours. I'm not going to go into that details, but I will just take a note of it. So for example, if I have, one way to do, so if I have to fine tune this even more, what I would essentially do is buy a new route which will take time which is less than 4 hours or something, and then I will use the same flight to schedule it to be scheduled on the same route. Again, just buying a single route is not going to help, because then you also have to worry about the remaining demand. So the idea is, I think we need to maintain a good balance between the long haul routes and the short haul routes. The long haul routes, they make more profit per day, but the short haul routes, these, of course, they also make profit, but additionally it is also easier for us to fulfill their residual demand with the other aircrafts which are already busy on the long haul, which are typically busy on the long haul routes, and they have few hours to spare. So I could schedule those aircrafts on the shorter routes. So for now I have think so earlier, all the above section which we just scrolled up, it used to look like this, the way it looks like for 44 and 45. So a lot of time is wasted over here. So from starting from 40th, I will see if I can manage this in a better way. So what I typically do is, first of all, I identify the route. Okay, so let's in this section, let us take, for example, let us say we want to work with the 053. Okay, so my target aircraft is 053. It is currently free for 7.5 or approximately 7 hours 45 minutes in its schedule. So I go back, I click on schedule the flights. Now I have 7 hours 53 minutes of that flight time, or the schedule available for that particular flight. That is flight number 53. So let me first search for that flight. Yes, this is the flight, and then I will filter the routes which fall in that category, so from 6 hours to 8 hours. Then I see there are these two routes which are Lisbon and Athens, which fall in this duration. So this particular aircraft number 53, can serve these two routes as far as the time or the schedule is concerned. But as a next step, we also have to take a look at the remaining demand on both of these. So if you see for Lisbon, the demand for economy, business and first class is not that much. It is we are already serving most of it. If we happen to schedule this flight as well on the same route, it will most probably not accept it. The automatic scheduler will not accept it, because we have gone beyond the required demand. or the remaining demand. So the only option that remains is the Athens. So I select Athens, I click on automatic scheduling, and it automatically schedules this flight. So if we now take a look at the 53's schedule, daily schedule, so most of it is being utilized. So this is a better way to schedule a flight. Now when I reached here at 39, most of the demand was fulfilled by all of my flights, and I'm talking about the demands of the shorter haul flights. The longer haul flights, they require better aircrafts or bigger aircrafts which can travel for a longer distance, and of course it also takes a longer duration to fly between the two. So the flights which are so it's like the flights which are assigned, or the aircrafts which are assigned on the longer haul routes, they can be reassigned on the shorter haul routes as well, but the vice versa is not possible. So that is something to keep in mind. Let us take a look at the network right now. So as you can see, let me sort this by distance from low to high. So starting from Zurich, these are all short haul flights, and as you can see, the remaining demand is very low. It basically means that we have already fulfilled most of this demand. If we happen to schedule a new aircraft or a new flight on this route, it will probably go into red. So I think for most of the shorter haul flights, I think I have already fulfilled the demands. Now starting with Cairo and onwards, these are all long haul flights, and as you can see, there is still a lot of demand for that. Unfortunately, we cannot schedule the shorter haul flights on the same routes like the longer hauls, but that's a new thing that we need to take care of, considering this already takes a lot of time to run between these destinations. They already cover the schedule very well, and these are highly profitable. If you see, one trip to Kuala Lumpur can generate quite some revenue, around 4 to 5 million of revenue. So yeah, that was the trip. If you want to fine tune your schedule, just go to the schedule of the day, identify the number of hours for a particular flight which is free, and then go back to schedule that flights. So for 40, select this aircraft and then filter out with respect to that route, and then depending on the demand, you feel free to schedule that flight on a different route. That will make sure the utilization is enough, is more than 80 or 85%, I would say. That's it for now. Thank you.